Today's video is how to calculate calories and macros for fat loss. Now, I don't focus solely on calories when doing my clients' nutritional plans. However, I know a lot of you out there do calorie count. So I'm hoping that this video will help you do that correctly. First of all, what are macros? Well, macros consist of protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Let's start with protein. Protein does mean first and foremost of the most importance, which it certainly is when it comes to fat loss and dieting. 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. Protein is vital for muscle repair and fat loss. If you're lacking protein in your diet, your body will start to use muscle tissue as fuel, especially when you're in a calorie deficit, and it will use the muscle before the fat stores too. Why does it do that? Quite simple really. Muscle is metabolic tissue. So if you're in a calorie deficit, then your body's going to get rid of things first and foremost that are expending fuel because you haven't got enough coming in. So it will eat muscle tissue before it eats into fat stores. Now this is known as catabolism. When your body becomes catabolic, you'll stop burning fat, you'll experience muscle wastage and fatigue. So protein-rich meals will help you keep full and satisfied. So it's really, really important to include protein at each meal to avoid hunger and stop you from unhealthy snacking. Next, we've got carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates are sometimes vilified in certain diets and in certain areas of the fitness industry. Now, carbohydrates do come with their own set of issues because carbs do spike insulin and they do create an insulin response. However, you need carbohydrates. They are important and they should not be completely omitted from your diet. 1 gram of carbohydrates equals 4 calories. They are a vital energy source and provide us with the most essential substance, glucose. All of the tissue and the cells in our body use glucose for energy. There are 2 forms of carbohydrates. You've got simple carbs and you've got complex carbs. Simple carbs are made of just 1 or 2 sugar molecules, so things like fruit and honey. They are the quickest source of energy as they are very rapidly digested. Complex carbohydrates refer to dietary starches that are made of sugar molecules that are strung together. They are quite often very rich in fibre and used for time-released and sustained energy, so things like vegetables, whole grains, sweet potatoes, those kind of things. Complex carbs or low GI carbs are digested slowly, giving the body a sustained energy release, which means they are less likely to be stored as fat. Next, we're on to fats. Now 1 gram of fats is equal to 9 calories. Now those of you who are good at maths, 1 gram of fats is 9 calories. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So if I get rid of all the fats, per gram of fats, I'm reducing my calories by 9 calories. This is exactly what the food industry cottoned onto and why everything became fat-free. Fat-free this, fat-free that, because it would then be lower calories and good and part of a low calorie diet. However, fats are the things that make the food taste good. Now you take the fats out of something and it tastes like shit. So what do the food industry and manufacturers then have to do? They then add sugars, additives to then make it taste more palatable. So it may be less in calories, okay, but there's a load more carbs in there. And what type of carbs are they putting in there? The simple carbs. The carbs that create the initial surge and spike in insulin and blood sugar and that are quickly released. These aren't good carbs. They aren't what we want in our diets. So it's very, very important, again, that we don't completely omit fats from our diet, because fats are extremely essential for our survival. We need fats in our diet for normal growth and development, and we also need fats to absorb certain types of vitamins like A, D, E, K. So the first part of the equation when calculating your calories and how to put you in a calorie deficit is to calculate your BMR. Now what BMR is, your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. This is what your body needs in order to just survive, to function, for your heart to function, for your kidneys to work, all your body's systems to work. And as if by magic, in true Blue Peter style, here it is, ready to go. I've had somebody write it up for me because my handwriting is atrocious and you wouldn't be able to see it on the camera. Now I have done it in metric. If our friends, cousins and family over the pond want me to do it in imperial, please comment in the section below and I'll get it written up in the comments for you, because it is slightly different. So this is how you calculate the basal metabolic rate for a male. So it's 66 plus 13.7 times your weight in kilos, plus 5 times your height in centimeters, minus 6.8 times your age. So I'll use myself as an example. So 66 plus, my weight is 115 kilos at the moment, so 13.7 times 115 is 1,575.5. Plus my height times 5, I'm 180 centimeters on a good day, times 5 is 900. Okay, then 6.8 times my age, so 6.8 times 22, 43, I know I don't look it, but 6.8 times 43 is 292.4. So add all of that together, my basal metabolic rate just to sit still and function and brain work and organs and heart and all of those things to function is 2,249.1 calories. So let's round that up. So 2,250 calories is my basal metabolic rate. So it's 655 plus 9.6 times your weight in kilos, plus 1.8 times your height in centimeters, minus 6.8 times your age. So on this example, we're going to take a 78 kilo woman, 165 centimeters, 36 years old. So 655 plus 9.6 times 78 is 748.8. Then 1.8 times 165 is 297. Minus 6.8 times her age, 6.8 times 36 is 169.2, gives us 1,531.6 calories. So we'll round that down to 1,530 calories is their basal metabolic rate. The final part to the equation is calculating your total daily energy expenditure. We take the basal metabolic rate that we've just calculated, and then dependent on your lifestyle, you then multiply that to get your total daily energy expenditure, the amount of calories that you need for that day. So we have sedentary, that's little or no exercise, that's your BMR times 1.15. Now the next two brackets, 2 and 3, mostly sedentary and lightly active, are the kind of brackets that the majority of people will fit into. So mostly sedentary means you sat at the office or you're driving all day, but you do 3 days of weight training, okay? So that will be BMR times 1.35. The next one up is lightly active, so you've got quite a physical job, or you do a bit of running, but you're definitely not sat down the majority of the day. You could be a nurse, for example, like getting in your 10,000 plus steps a day at work, walking backwards and forwards and things like that. So lightly active, and you do 3 to 6 days of weights training. BMR times 1.55. The last one is highly active. So let's say you're a labourer, or you're a builder, or you're a professional athlete, and you go to the gym 3 to 6 days of the week. So that's BMR, your basal metabolic rate, times 1.75. So on my example, my BMR was 2,250. So 2,250. I need to multiply that by 1.75 because I am highly active. I am a semi-professional sportsman. I'm running 3 times a week. I go to the gym 5 times a week. I am highly active. So I need to times that by 1.75. So my total daily energy expenditure, what I need to do to live, to function, and do everything that I'm doing to maintain where I'm at, I need 3,937.5 calories. So let's round that up to 3,950 calories is what I need to maintain me as I am doing what I do. So on that example, I would start by cutting 500 calories a day if I wanted to drop weight. So minus 500 there, I would look at getting my calories down to 3,450 calories a day. Okay. Now, you can go really in depth with this. So you could calculate your calories based on each day. So, you know, you may have a rest day on a Wednesday or whatever, so you would change to mostly sedentary, or you may have a day where you don't do anything, so at the weekends, for example, so you would calculate that sedentary day. But what I'm saying is, don't get bogged down in the minutia. Don't get swamped in that. Just get this figure here, roughly get this figure, and then it is the changes that you then make that will make the difference. Okay, so I would start by cutting 500 calories a day. I would then tweak it after a couple of weeks, 10%. I personally like to take 5% like a reduction in calories and 5% an increase in output. So putting in some cardio in there, some steady state cardio, things like that. Now I've got your calorie figure, you then need to know where your macros come from. So what percentage should be carbohydrates, what percentage should be protein, what percentage should be fats. Again, this is hugely variant for everybody, okay? Everybody will be different on this. It depends on your body type, it depends on your insulin resistance, it depends on a myriad of things. But a good starting point would be to get 20% from your carbs, so 20% of that TDEE coming from your carbs. Then 40% of that TDEE coming from protein and 40% coming from fats.